Managing in the lower leagues of Football Manager can be very tough. You can't go out and splash £30 million on a Wonderkid or have all of your scouts scouting Colombia for players. That's not going to be possible in the lower league, and there's a bunch of challenges that come with managing in those lower divisions. So in today's video, I'll be giving you some tips to help out with your lower league managements, and hopefully, even if you are managing a big club, some of these tips can still apply. So let's run the intro and get right into it. Hello everyone, Jake here for FMSCOUT. Welcome to today's video where we're going to be giving you the top tips for lower league management in Football Manager 23. I'm sure most of these tips will also apply to other Football Manager games, and like I mentioned, even though these are lower league management tips, they might still apply for your save depending on where you're managing. So with that being said, we will get right into it, but first, if you do enjoy this video or find it useful, then please smash that like button for us to push it out to as many people as possible, and drop a comment down below your biggest lower league management tip. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then please do so. Daily Football Manager content you don't want to miss out, so hit that button, and now we'll get into it. You will see we are with Notts County here in the Vanarama National League. Of course, lower league management isn't just England. You've got the German 3rd division, the Spanish lower divisions, everywhere really has their own 2nd, 3rd, 4th division. Here though, we've got Notts County, who actually are pretty stable financially with a nice budget of about £150,000. Obviously it's no Premier League budget, but it's not too bad. We're not in a horrible position, but even with that being said, all of these rules are going to apply to pretty much any club. So we've started a fresh save here. I'm just going to guide you through some tips. Some of these tips are going to be quick fixes. Other things are going to be more theoretical ways of thinking about lower league management. And that's how we're going to start, by laying the baseline of saying your main aim when you're in these lower leagues is to get promoted, of course, but without spending any money. Everything you do in a lower league management save is going to have budgeting in mind. You don't want to be splashing cash on players when it comes to transfers, on really high player wages. It's not worth it. There's so many options out there in lower league management that should be able to stop you from paying crazy amounts to players or spending crazy amount on transfers. Your aim is to make as much money as possible while spending as little as you can. And there's a few ways that you can do this. The first one is to exploit loans. If you've ever seen a Zealand video on YouTube, you will know loans are the way forward in these lower levels, and it's exactly what I'm going to suggest here. There's no point, and I mean no point really, spending actual cash on players in these kind of divisions. Most of the time you can move most of this transfer budget over to the wage budget, and you can use that instead to bring in players. Chances are these guys on loan are going to be better than most people you'd be buying anyway, and you might think, well, they're only going to help me for a season or so. Most of the time that is all you need. You just want to get promoted, then you'll be in the next division. From there you're going to want a different quality of player. There's no point being sentimental, signing players for actual money in the 5th division of English football, because yes, they might have potential, but if you get a couple of quick promotions, those players are soon going to fall behind where they need to be, and you don't want to get attached to players. Realistically, most players, as soon as you go up a division or two, are no longer going to be good enough for your team, so you're going to have to do a lot of chopping and changing. But loans are one of the best ways to get around this, because you bring someone in to help your side out in the short term, and most of the time they're going to be your best players. So if we were to go for this guy here, we're going to go ahead and try and offer a loan. They'd only want $2,600 a month, which isn't too bad at all, considering when you look, we're paying people on average about £1,000 a week. So realistically, he's cheaper than a lot of our first team players, and there's a good chance he's going to be better than most of them. So I would always suggest bringing in players on loan. Absolutely destroy the loan market. Use as many as you can in your side that still fits within the registration rules. They'll save you money, and they're going to be better than most of the people you have in your team. And realistically, if you're taking the English divisions as an example, I would say you could do that all the way up to, say, the Championship. Then you might start about actually signing players. League 1, League 2, Vanarama leagues, you should just be loaning people in and working on free transfers. And free transfers is the next thing we're going to talk about. It's one of the things that you need to make sure you're doing in these saves. Now, one thing that I imagine many of you would do is you'll go here, you'll go to contract status, expired, or you'll ask your scouts to look for free agents. Either way, you'll get a bunch of free agents come back, your Gareth Bales, your Dembélés, your Iscos, who are never going to play for you. So let's make sure we sort it by identify people who'd actually be willing to join us, and now we've narrowed it down a little bit. You could go out now and try and scout all of these players to find which of them are any good, but that's going to take a lot of time. It's going to cost you money to scout these players as well, so instead just scan as many as you want to, or the ones that you want to bring in on trial, and you're going to do exactly that, bring them in on trial by right clicking transfer offer trial. What that will do is it will basically ask all of those players that you've highlighted pretty much to come down to training to test out. If you advance a day or so, you can see that now they're all ready to come in on trial, the ones that have accepted the offer to come in. So not all of them will, but you get all of these guys in on trial, and then you get a quick scout report based on how good they are, and for 4 weeks or so you can use them in friendlies, you can learn about them, and you can decide if they are the right players for you. So you'll see here we've just managed to get, what was that, 5 players on trial? 4 maybe? I didn't keep count, but if we advance a day, you'll soon see, here they go, they all come in, and we straight away get a report on whether they'd be any good for us. I've only loaded up this save as an example, and for the sake of this video, there's a tip coming up that requires me to have attribute masking off. So usually when these players coming on trial, you won't get a clear example straight away of how good they are and all their individual attributes, but by the end of 4 weeks on trial at your club, you will get their attributes page looking like this, you'll get their report looking like this, and you will know just whether they are going to be a player for you that you should be trying to sign. Very easy to do, you don't have to send your scouts out, and you can easily bring in a ton of people in one go. Another way to easily find these free agents that might want to join your club is to go to the transfers tab, to Director of Football, suggest transfer targets, and here your Director of Football can suggest to you, I don't know, a centre back for transfer or a centre back on loan. It's a great way to find loan players, it's a great way to find free transfers. Look, I'll click that and I've been given 3 potential signings to bring in as a free transfer. You could do the same for, say, strikers on loan, but another way that you should be looking for players on free transfer is by looking at the ones that are running out of contract soon. One thing you should be doing in January, maybe not so important in the summer windows, as you can see, we didn't really get too many players come through, is to search on these end of contract players by going to your search feature on your scouted players or your player search screen, whichever one you like to use, and go into contract status expiring in 6 months, because these people will be the ones where you can go ahead and offer them a contract to join your club once their contract is up with their current club. Like I say, we're in the summer here, so not really many examples, but if you do this in January, you will have plenty of players to pick from, most of which maybe won't want to negotiate with you, but you might be able to find those guys that you can bring in as a free agent next season. So always try and do that. Either loan players in, bring them in on a free if you can, use trials to your advantage, and also search on end of contract players. Don't go out spending your whole 500k budget, 200k budget on a single player. It's just not worth doing in these kind of leagues. Another great lower league management tip is to get yourself a senior affiliate. What this will do is it will allow your club, let's say Notts County here, to align themselves with a big club, let's say it was Manchester City, and you create a link between the two sides, which means we can take their players on loan without having to pay any funds whatsoever. And obviously Man City's benefit is they get to quickly loan players out, all to a same team, and develop them in a place that they know. And if you want to get yourself a senior affiliate, all you need to do is go to make board request, go to networking, I believe it is, and then senior affiliate. Now, I've only been here for a day or so at Notts County. They probably aren't going to accept it, but if you've been there for a little bit of time, you might be able to ask for the senior affiliate, and if it's a Premier League side or a Championship side, the likelihood is their loan players are going to be your best players, so to be able to get them for pretty much no money at all would be absolutely ideal. We've seen if they want to negotiate, but because it's so early on, obviously he's going to say no, but hopefully with you guys, if you do this a few months in after playing well, the board might be willing to accept your request, and you can create a link to a big club and get your players in on loan for a very, very minimal fee. I've got a save currently going on with Aberdeen on my own channel where we have an affiliate with Montrose. Now Montrose in that case are the smaller club and we are the senior affiliate, but they are getting a bunch of our players on loan every season and actually starting to get promoted now, and that's in the Scottish divisions. Obviously isn't exactly the same as the English divisions, but it works the same way. If you've got a mega club as your senior affiliate, you can get some great players into your side. And by the way, if you do want to check out that Aberdeen save or some rebuild videos or even some YouTube shorts about Wonderkids you might not have heard of, then come check out my channel, linked in the description. I'd greatly appreciate it, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the content. But back to the tips. Another tip that's very important, and one that a lot of people playing in lower league managements will tell you, is not to have too long in terms of contract lengths. You can see there's a couple of players here going for 3 years until 2025, but I think at this kind of level of football, you want to be offering 1 or 2 year deals to players. And the reason is you're thinking about the short term, right? With these clubs, you just want to get promoted as quick as possible. The money will come in the Championship, in the Premier League. When you're in the lower divisions, there's no point keeping players around on 4-year deals. Let's say we gave a 4-year deal to centre-back Aidan Baldwin, right? And he was here until 2026 or something. Yes, he might be good for us right now, a 3-star player, but in 4 years' time, when that contract's expiring, we might be 2 divisions higher by then, 3 divisions higher maybe, and he won't be a quality of player that we want in our squad. Whereas if we'd offered him a 2-year deal, maybe when we got to League 1, League 2, we can reevaluate, let him go, bring someone else in. That way we're not stuck with his wages for the whole time. Obviously we could sell him, but it's not necessarily guaranteed. You will get some bids in for him. So I would definitely say try and keep your contract lengths at a minimum in these lower divisions. A few more tips to cover, one of which is a very handy thing that you can do to get some money in, and that is to go ahead and arrange some friendlies. I talk about this in pretty much every tip video. You might see we've already got some friendlies arranged here, so there's no point me doing any more, right? Wrong. We want to go ahead and arrange a couple of friendlies with some mega clubs. You can do this by going to your schedule, going to the calendar, and finding a space during that friendly period where it might be a good time to have one. Let's say, I don't know, on a Wednesday here, on Wednesday the 27th of July, there's an empty slot, we're going to make a friendly, we'll go ahead, arrange a friendly, and we'll request one from a big team. Let's say we're going to organise a friendly with Wolves. This is going to cost us a fee of £72,000, but you will see the income from that match would have been 97k. Now in terms of the options that we've been given here, we're not going to make a crazy amount of money on any of these friendlies, but to be able to make, you know, £20,000, considering our budget was what, like 150k, if you could do a couple of them, you can make some really, really good cash. And obviously Wolves isn't the biggest stadium in the world. If you had the option of Manchester United, which sometimes you might, Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea, Manchester City, Tottenham, all of these kind of mega clubs, what would happen if you arranged a friendly is you might see it would cost you 100 grand to arrange the friendly, but your income is going to be £300,000. There you've quickly made 200k, and that is more than our transfer budget ever was at the start. And it's just a really good way to get some money in. The money might not go straight to your transfer budget, it might just sit in your finances pot, but it's a good way to get cash into the club, and hopefully later down the line that'll be able to support you in the transfer front. So always, if you can, try and arrange some friendlies. Yes, we might get battered by Wolves, but it'll be good fitness and we'll make some money from it. And if we'd done this with every single friendly, we could have made some money. Instead, we're playing against Slough, Macclesfield as well. These might be teams that are more similar to our level, but if you throw in a few big money games there, you can make some easy cash. And the final tip I'm going to give is something that some people might disagree with, but for me, physicals are better than anything, maybe in all of FM, but particularly in lower league management. Let's imagine you've got 2 players to pick from, right? There's 2 strikers, one of which has, let's say, 15 finishing, but 8 acceleration. The other one has 15 acceleration, but 8 finishing. You might think, well, the technically gifted player is going to be the one that's going to be best, right? Maybe in a certain tactic, that might be the case. But at this kind of level, physical attributes can blow people away. Whether it's someone who's just way quicker than anybody else, someone that's really good in the air compared to everyone else, you will see way better results than someone who has maybe 20 finishing but isn't quick enough, because he might be able to finish, but if he can't run past the defence or outstrength for defence, then he's not going to be able to get them goals. It's not like he's got 19 passing, 19 vision midfielders playing the ball into him like you might do in the Premier League. No. In these divisions, you are after physical specimens. If they're technically gifted, then great. But realistically, you want the quick players who can beat the offside traps. You want the big centre-backs who are going to head the ball at corners. Obviously, it might not always be the exact case if you have someone who's amazingly technically gifted, but, you know, someone else who's decent when it comes to physicals. Yes, the amazing technicals are going to be great to have in your team. But for the majority of your players, you want those physical beasts who are going to dominate in these kind of divisions. And trust me, they will. And I've had first-hand experience with that across Football Manager, and it's been the case for years. But there you go, guys. That is some lower league management tips to hopefully help you out in your save. If you have enjoyed it, smash the like button and let me know your tips in the comments down below. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.